And now it's time for a Star Trek story.
You know, Aaron, we've asked a whole bunch of questions on this silly podcast before. We not too long ago, we asked a question about if you could go back in time and change your past, would you? This is going to be a similar question along those lines, but a little different. If you could, would you want to see what your life looks like in an alternate timeline?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Why?
I love notes. I love feedback.
I'm taking notes.
And yeah, being able to see like an alternate future of someone that's exactly like you is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
That would be potentially very inspiring, even if it's like a worse version of yourself.
Yeah,
and we're like, well, at least I'm not that piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see how I feel maybe as we get into it. I'm not sure what my answer to this question is. Like, on one hand, I'm like, is it all that different than just imagining scenarios in your head? But on the other side, I'm like, would this also be the path to madness? Like, what else could I have been? What else could I have been? What else could I have been?
You turn into the daughter in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Exactly.
Or Kang the Conqueror.
So yeah, we'll see if this episode of Star Trek, I don't know, makes me go on one side or the other. Yes, because we are watching Star Trek today on Star Trek Stories.
Yeah.
This is episode 62, Parallels. I, of course, am your multi-dimensional host, Jaron Hatch, and I'm joined here by my omniversal co-host, Aaron Cole. Hello, Aaron.
Big brain meme.
I contain multitudes. We are deep into our look at Deep Space Nine and the end of TNG. Last time we watched The Siege, where our good friend Tanner came on to help us dig in for the Star Trek franchise's first 3-part episode. Fortunately, we don't have like a 3-part marathon today. Just a nice little single episode of TNG. And we have a new guest on to talk about this one with us. Sitting in the captain's chair, we have the very lovely Darren Karr on with us. Hello, Darren.
Goli Chokida! Goli Chokida! Goli Jockey Aaron! Goli Chokida!
Happy birthday to Aaron, since his birthday.
Is that your birthday today?
It was my birthday the other day.
Well, I will echo Darren's wonderful sentiments with Kapla.
Kapla! Kapla!
Thank you, Darren.
Beautiful.
That was fucking awesome.
That was really good. I know good Klingon when I hear it, and that was good Klingon.
Spot on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
I enjoy the show, and happy to be a part of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't usually get to have some of our dedicated listeners on, so thank you, Darren,
Awesome,
for coming on.
No problem.
For those who don't know, Darren is Aaron's father-in-law. So, I think we maybe mentioned this last time when we were recording. We, as much as we have watched Star Trek, we've had a bunch of guests on to come watch all these little space astronauts in their silly space pajamas, like solving space problems. Someone who we haven't had on the podcast, we haven't had someone who's actually been in the service. Oh. And I'm not, and now if I recall correctly, you are an airman or were an airman?
I was.
Are you still in that world at all, or what exactly did you do in the Air Force?
So I was a C5 crew chief. And if you don't know what the C-5 is, it's a huge cargo plane, like huge. We used to play baseball or form baseball in the cargo bay of it. I worked grave shift almost the whole time, so it was pretty chill. You know, you go out there and you're basically babysitting an airplane. Mm-hmm. So we'd play baseball, massive. It was at the time it was the second biggest aircraft in the world, beat out by Russia by 1 foot. So pretty massive plane. And I was in charge of the maintenance of it, make sure that it could leave safely and make it back. And then when I got out of the Air Force, I was done. I don't like working outside. So even though I was in California still, outside was in the middle of the night too. So it got cold sometimes. And did some fun things like... one of the funnest things was they had to do engine tests every so often, and they'd crank them up. You had to block the plane down and stuff so it wouldn't take off flying, And they'd crank up the engines, and they'd have to have a couple of people standing behind the plane, which was the job that I always volunteered for because there was a road behind it that the military, not like a civilian road, but a military road, and cars and vehicles would cross it. So you were back there to stop them, So, yeah. So, but the cool thing about it was you could get on the edge of the jet, exhaust, right? And it was always cold at night, so we'd always have our big jackets on. If you get behind there and open your jacket, it would literally lift you off the ground for like 10 feet, and you'd fly for just like, I don't know, a half a second or something. But that was probably one of the funnest things that I did. So anyways, out of that business immediately when I left.
Air Force kicks and giggles. Very
just some fun stuff.
Floating and flying a little bit. I'm curious. I haven't thought about this too much. But I'm curious, as someone who has been in the service, and you're watching Star Trek, it's like this future version of like space military. When you watch Star Trek, having been in the service, like, do you relate to the little like military world they live in, like, or does it feel like a enlightened version of it, or does it feel like that's cute but it's pretty silly?
So up until the later series is specifically Discovery, it was very much similar to it. So yeah, with the attitude, the chain of command, uniforms, rules, stuff like that.
The military professionalism.
Yeah, exactly. And then it kind of went a little off track for Discovery, which might be like a cultural thing, so I'm not like butthurt about it or anything. It's just, it's different. In Discovery, the rest of them, they're still pretty true to the military aspect, except for Picard, which doesn't really...
It's very different.
They're pirates in that one.
Speaking to Star Trek more generally, anytime Aaron has talked about you and Cass has talked about you being a really big Star Trek fan for a long time, and I always love to ask, the Star Trek fans, where does this all start for you? Like, what's your little story with Star Trek? Does this go back to childhood for you, or where does this start with you?
Okay. Fair question. I was born on June 3rd, 1969.
Okay.
Any relevance?
Yeah, the moon landing.
Well, and the very same day that the last episode of the original series aired.
Wow.
So you could say that I was kind of born into it, which honestly feels like that to me because I don't remember anything in my life not being Star Trek. Like I remember, I didn't see the original series, of course, because that's when it ended.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as it came out. However, the reruns in syndication were on. We had 4 stations or whatever, and they were on all the time. That and like Twilight Zone, and probably another couple things. But Star Trek was always on, so I literally have grown up just watching Star Trek, really. My parents didn't really know or care about it, but I definitely did. So from day one, literally.
That's familiar. I mean, like, because some people, when they come on, they can kind of pinpoint either like whenabouts they got into it. But, you know, when we've talked about it for myself, I'm like, I couldn't tell you like when it started. It's always been there for me. So do you have a favorite?
My favorite series is definitely Deep Space Nine. I like how it changed from The Next Generation, which was episodic, to the story, the whole story along the, you know, I mean, The Next Generation kind of had that a little bit with Q and stuff, you know, but not really, not like Deep Space Nine. And I just really enjoyed following the main storyline, which was prevalent in just about every episode, maybe every episode, and then also picking up on the episodic stories that were happening too. And I think they did a really great job tying them in. So Deep Space Nine, by far. Is
by far.
Yeah.
By far. Before we get into this episode, I'm going to give the question from earlier over to you. What do you think, Darren? If you could, would you want to see yourself in an alternate timeline?
I'm very fascinated by everything of that.
The multiverse?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, you know. I mean, it's possible, you know. So I like to just kind of hold that in me, you know, that like, okay, it's possible. You know, anything's possible. So just based on my personality and stuff, of course. Of course. But I think the more fascinating thing would be to see like how does technology differ in an alternate universe, you know? Is it the same as we have here? And if so, why? You know, it's a completely different
like universe.
Yeah, and so it seems possible to me that it would have different technologies and stuff too. I don't know. I mean, it's different. Yeah, nobody knows.
Well, that's interesting because I feel like, you know, the most obvious thing to kind of look at in an alternate timeline is, of course, yourself on a personal level. But you would like to see kind of more of the bigger societal, cultural differences.
Absolutely. You know? And I'd also like to see how other people are different. You know, like my friends, or do I have the same friends? What are my parents like? You know, and of course I'd like to know about myself too, but I think that would be kind of ancillary for me, you know, but yeah, that's kind of.
I'd be curious, like if you could actually experience it, how that would go.
I think the answer is nobody really knows, so we can just imagine the best. And,
what it would be.
Think,
somebody knows. Cool. One of us out there knows.
Well, fortunately, someone in this episode is about to find out, so we can see their experience. Yes, we are watching Parallels today. This premiered November 29th, 1993. This is the 11th episode of the 7th and final season of Star Trek The Next Generation, around the middle of the pack. Yes, we are in our final stretch of TNG in this 100 episode list we're doing. And, you know, we've gotten a pretty good slice of the show up to this point. We've gotten Picard episodes, Riker episodes, Data episodes, Wesley episodes, Beverly episodes. We've even snuck in some Geordi and Troy in there. But you know who we haven't really taken a look at yet on the show is none other than our favorite resident Klingon, Mr. Worf.
Mr. Worf!
All the Worf groupies out there. Where's the Worf content? Come on.
We've been waiting since the leap.
We finally got to it in episode 62. Yeah, I do believe Worf is in more episodes of Star Trek than any other character. He spans multiple series. Definitely most famous for TNG. And while many episodes that he gets revolve around his Klingonness, this one's going to be a little different for Worf. So I think we'll get to see some fun little facets with him, and maybe we can see if there is something about him that warrants being the most, I don't know, occurring character in Star Trek. What does everyone love about Worf so much? All right. For those of you at home who are going to watch along with us, Star Trek The Next Generation is streaming on Paramount Plus. You can find it by bringing up Season 7, Episode 11, and we will be back after we watch Parallel.
Setting course for the Fisher.
Acknowledged.
Captain, the shuttlecraft is under attack.
The Bajorans again.
No, sir, it's one of the Enterprises. They're hailing us.
On screen. We won't go back. You don't know what it's like in our universe. The Federation's gone. The Borg is everywhere. We're one of the last ships left, please. You've got to help us. I'm sorry, there's no choice. If this works, everything will return to... No, we won't go back!
Sir, they're firing on the shuttlecraft.
Open fire. Try to disable.
Direct hit. Their shields have collapsed. Their engine core's overloading.
What happened?
It looks like the ship had already taken heavy damage. Their warp containment field must have been weak.
Probably from fighting with the Borg.
Captain, Worf is entering the fissure.
All right, we just got back from watching Parallels. In case you've never seen this one before, didn't watch it along with us. So basically in this one, Worf is on his way back in a shuttlecraft from a Batleth tournament where he has, of course, won champion standing. But when he returns to the Enterprise, he starts to notice that like things seem to be different, or things start to be changing in front of his eyes. Basically, what's happening is that Worf is slipping through the multiverse for quantum shenanigans. His shuttle flew through some random anomaly or something, and now he's shifting through realities, and so he's trying to find a way back. which he eventually does. Everything goes back to the way it was. But during his adventures, he realizes that a bunch of his other selves were married to Counselor Troy. And when he does return, there is a little like scene with Troy at the end where he invites her to dinner and even orders some champagne for the both of them. Wild, wacky stuff on Star Trek The Next Generation. We always start with initial thoughts. Darren, initial thoughts on Parallels.
Well, you're talking about the end part there, which I thought was really interesting, and I was a little surprised at the way Worf dealt with that, because it didn't seem like the Klingon way. I was kind of expecting him to like pick her up and throw her over his shoulder, and just begin the mating ritual.
Start wrestling.
Something, but pulling the chair out for her and being all polite was like, but it was cool. I mean, I like that. That was, and it kind of showed his Worf's upbringing, his more human upbringing, I think, which was pretty cool. But as far as the episode, I really, really enjoyed that episode. I thought it was really good. So, and I've seen it probably a couple or several times, but didn't really remember it. There's so many episodes out there.
I know.
But it was really fun to rewatch. It was a good one. I appreciate the choice. And
yeah, I thought this would be a fun, like, it's definitely one of those classic Next Generation, like, high concept.
Oh yeah,
crazy, like, whatever shenanigan of the week happening. Yeah, definitely a fun one to rewatch. Aaron, initial thoughts on Parallels?
Yeah, great episode. I like how they handled the multiverse. Especially when it starts becoming more and more apparent. The camera switches and stuff were very clever. Sorry, Geordi.
Sorry, Geordi.
Not your episode, man.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like, here, I guess here's a quick question. Does everything reset, or like, does Geordi stay dead in that other universe? Like, what do you guys think? Like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, does the episode just imply everything has just reset, like it never happened, but Worf remembers it? Or is there still a universe out there where Geordi's dead and Troy's just like, oh, I've lost Worf?
No. If it put everybody back in the same kind of time space that Worf was in, like a couple days ago or whatever, a couple hours ago.
Yeah, he goes back like right to the beginning. So
it gave the Borg universe people a chance to survive, maybe get out of there.
The Worf that couldn't figure out how to raise the shields was probably back and raised the shields.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing Geordi survived. For those who don't like Geordi, sorry.
Yeah, this one's always a fun one, though. Do you know what this kind of makes me think of is Voyager. Voyager gets really into like the big timey-wimey, like anomaly, high concept stuff, and this almost kind of feels like a Voyager episode in terms of just like that big high concept. And also, if I had a criticism of this, it would be there are a couple scenes with a lot of technobabble where they're just talking about
from
quantum
Wesley
resonance fields and splitting the warp shell and bubble, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever. Other than that, it's so fun. I think you're right. I think they do a good job filming this one. They start really subtle with like the changes, and then as it's going, it starts to escalate.
Maybe less technobabble, and they could have done a little more with the Enterprises talking to each other in that moment, because that was really cool to see at the end. Just bloop, bloop. New universe. Like, oh my god.
Oh my! Could you imagine if they had like a briefing room scene with like multiple?
Yeah, man. What was that?
Oh my gosh.
We just didn't have the ability, but they could do it now.
Yeah, that's where we can start, is like the big high concept thing. So in this one, we're essentially tackling the multiverse, and I feel like this has kind of been an interesting time in like pop culture to talk about like multiverse, because I feel like it's in the last few years definitely been a pretty big thing, like Doctor Strange and Everything Ever All at Once,
Marvel.
Yeah, all the Marvel stuff. What do you guys think, especially like in modern context? Do you guys think this is a good or interesting like exploration of like the whole like multiverse idea?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like to go back to the initial question, like, would you want to see alternate timelines or realities of yourself? Yes, but probably not like that. That seems like a terrifying way to experience the multiverse.
Like slipping into it.
Yeah, the dizziness. It's like a space-time dementia or something. Mm-hmm. Imagine if he never solved it. It was just that forever.
Just that forever. Oh God.
Is there a universe where that happened?
What do you think, Darren? Do you think there's a fun kind of look at the multiverse idea?
You know, you mentioned all the other shows and stuff, and I mean, even the recent talk of like aliens and stuff, it brings up a lot of possibilities, I suppose, you know, and I kind of like to be at least amenable to possibilities. But thinking about like a quantum universe or, you know, multiverse or whatever it is really like tiring because there's so much to try to think about, like what would happen if, you know, I mean, that just goes on forever. Mm-hmm. So I kind of get caught up in that. Even when just watching a show like this, I find my mind just starts wandering, like, how is this? And, you know, is this really what might happen? Or, you know, so I really like that, just the struggles of trying to figure out, you know, what might happen. And although it's kind of exhausting, it's in a good way. You know?
Yeah, that is interesting, like, because it is exhausting, like, you know, thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, because it's like, oh my God, because I know some people who, like, I've talked with some people who say didn't like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, that's fair, but like, you know, I love it, but like, what didn't you like about it? It's like, it was just too much, like, it's just so much. It's like, yeah, it's just a lot of wacky stuff to think about. I think I like, I think they do a pretty good balance of making it some, like, you know, sci-fi plot of the week to solve, but I think just the Worf Troy dynamic is probably, I like that personal twist, I feel like, is what kind of like makes the episode interesting. And I'm curious as to what you guys think about, like, specifically the Worf Troy thing, like, because I feel like what makes it interesting to watch is they introduce this idea of them possibly being in a relationship, and I feel like it kind of feels like a left field something you would never consider, like, because he says, I never thought that you and I would ever be in a relationship. So he's presented with this possibility he's never thought of, but then he latches onto it so quickly, just like he seems to be like, but you know, some people don't like the Worf and Troy dynamic that they introduced in this episode. Some people hate it. I think like Jonathan Frakes hates it.
Is he a little jealous, do you think?
Oh, a little bit.
Hey, what about my plot line with Troy? Yeah, what do you guys think? Because this does become just a little thing that's kind of in the background for like just the last chunk of the series is this Worf Troy thing. I don't know. What do you guys do? You like Worf and Troy together, or what's the feeling on them?
You know, it works. They have chemistry, and Frakes can hate it all he wants. Riker should have put a ring on it somewhere in the first 7 seasons.
He really blew that opportunity.
Come on, man.
She waited for like 7 years, dude. Hey.
A, become captain. B, go back and get married to Troy. Come on. Yeah, multiple opportunities.
All right, so we like it. The Riker Troy thing. What do you
awesome.
like? What do you think, Darren? Do you like them?
I've always kind of liked them. I've read some books, and my favorite one was Imzadi. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
I'm aware of it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah. This was back in the early 90s when I read it, so I don't remember specific things, but I do remember the relationship between Troy and Worf, and it was very compelling, that part of the story. And what I'm thinking about with this episode, and I can't remember if this is the case or not, but is this where their relationship begins in this episode?
Well, you only see it a couple times after this, but there's only at this point like 13, 14 episodes of the series left. They're getting toward the end. There's an episode after this where they come back to it and show this kind of dynamic, potentially, growing stronger. And then you see it again at the very end, and they are dating at that point. So I feel like this is the beginning of them exploring the possibility of it.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to me. And I really like how they tied it in with the multiverse and the quantum stuff. And I think this is a very unique and cool way of starting a relationship. And then you don't really even know what's happening. I mean, unless you have seen the other episodes and remember them, you don't really get the importance of that moment. So I've seen this several times and never really understood the importance of that moment there. So yeah, what a great way to finish the episode, man.
Yeah, just wow, yeah. Okay. That might be the thing that actually differentiates it from Voyager, because I was gonna joke, it's like, and everything was reset back to square one in the Star Trek universe once again. But then it does end that note of like, he might start a thing up with Troy, so it's like, oh, there is a lasting thing from this.
Yeah.
It's not just a reset button at the end. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I feel like I've gone back and forth over the years. I'm like, part of me does feel like it is still a little like out of left field. I do think they do have really good chemistry with each other. But then part of me just thinks, I'm curious as to, and maybe the Imzadi book goes into it, but I'm curious as to what they would find attractive about each other. Troy and Worf feel so almost like polar opposites. So is it like an opposites attract? It's like, what is Worf seeing here being is like this? She's such a, he was talking about, I need Klingon women, because like I need like a warrior in the bed, and I need her to throw furniture at me, and that seemed to be like Worf's whole kind of jam. And then Troy is just this gentle, soft therapist. It's like, I'm curious what, and then she is this little flower, and then Worf is bah. So I'm just like, I wonder what just that dynamic is. What do they see each other that's attractive to them?
It's the beginning of Zen Battlemaster Worf. I feel like Troy's like his awakening.
Helps center him.
Yeah, a little bit.
So he can become the Klingon Zen Master he was meant to be. Picard season 3.
That's a really interesting thought. I think you look back at Worf's other relationships, and you could probably try to glean something off of those to see why, because she's not like his other relationships, although his other relationships were Klingon or half Klingon.
Yeah, Kalar was half Klingon, half human.
Yeah, so I don't recall, well, besides like the twin, I guess I don't recall him having like a full Klingon experience.
Yeah, Kalar is the closest. But he talks about it. It romanticizes the idea of Klingon women, but I think it's mostly Kalar at this point.
I think it's the culture that he's more in love with than the actual Klingon women.
Just like his quest to be the ultimate Klingon is really what that is.
And that's what he thinks he needs. But then
why would he go with Troy?
Yeah, that possibility of seeing him with Troy takes OG Worf into the state of like, oh, I could do lots of things and still be a Klingon. I still felt pride as a Klingon in this universe. That's fine.
It is interesting. I mean, like, we'll see. We might cut this part out just for any spoilers. But spoilers, he gets in a relationship later with Dax on, Deep Space Nine. And that's also that one makes, like, more obvious sense to me. Because Dax, even though she's not a Klingon, she knows a lot of the Klingon culture.
True. But
then she herself is also, like,
kind of badass.
A badass and kind of like this, like, super smart rogue.
Yeah. Totally.
And then Troy is such a, in comparison, soft-spoken, like, therapist who likes chocolate. I'm like, wait, what is that? Like, it just, even, like, Kalar also, by comparison, and even though she's half human, she's still pretty, like, also this kind of, like, self-possessed kind of rogue character. Troy feels so different from those two, and so it's just such an interesting little outlier in Worf's the many loves of Worf.
Ezrian.
And then there's
a flower petal.
That's true. That's true. She is a therapist. He does come back around to the cute little therapist.
Yeah.
What is
maybe
that?
He's got a pattern.
You got to think about like the Beta Z aspect too. Like Beta Zs are actually quite compatible with Klingons.
It is an interesting point you bring up, though, because I feel like it is around this time we start to see more of the Worf we see later in Star Trek, especially like this feels a lot closer to Deep Space Nine Worf than kind of early TNG Worf, and then of course we see much later that he becomes this kind of Zen master, and I'm like, yeah, maybe there is something there with like Troy being.
Well, you got me thinking about it, how Michael Dorn's super into Worf.
Oh yeah,
as a character,
super into it.
So that it makes perfect sense to me. I'm Charlie Day putting the pieces together on the board. And then, which Zen Battlemaster Worf is because he had a multiverse episode back here. And Michael Dorn's thinking about all of this, of course, because he is in the character, man. He's with it.
He loves it. I think both him and Marina Sirtis had fun playing their stuff together. So I think they were like, oh yeah, we liked it. We had fun with that. Jonathan Frakes just me. This isn't speaking more specifically to Worf. We haven't watched a lot of Worf stuff on the podcast, but like I said, this is not normally the kind of episode Worf gets. Much of the other Worf stuff tends to be very Klingon-y. What do you guys think? Is this a good story to do with Worf or would someone else be more interesting from the crew in this episode, or like if it was a Data or a Geordi, or does Worf feel like a good little choice for it?
I think Worf is the best choice.
Yeah.
I could probably see somebody else in that position, but I think Worf is the better choice for this one. They pulled it off so well. I mean, it's after you see something like that, it's kind of hard to imagine it
with someone else,
you know. But I'm guessing they could do a great job with someone else too. Who knows? I was happy with this one.
I'm trying to think who, if not Worf, who would I want to see in an episode like this? But it is hard because I agree. Like, I associate this episode so hard with Worf, and I'm like, he just feels like it's fun to see specifically how he's, because I feel like if it was Data, it wouldn't be as interesting because he'd like figure it out real quick, and he's got this analytical. But just because Worf is more of this tactical security brain, he's not the one who's usually dealing with time anomalies.
Yeah. You don't get to see how Worf solves problems like this ever. We've seen how Beverly does this. We've seen how Picard and Riker do this.
Yeah.
We've never seen how Worf gets to step into the big shoes, right?
Yeah, it's all thinky stuff, and Worf usually gets much more like physical fire torpedoes stuff.
It's always an action episode when it's a Worf episode, you know? And so, that you have a good point. It's kind of unusual to see this, and it's really cool that they pulled it off.
I agree. I part of me is like, I feel like they could have easily screwed it up, but I feel like they pull it off. Do we think this kind of like fleshes him out in a way? I don't know, what do you think? Is this an interesting character exploration, or is it just mostly just kind of like exploring possibilities? What do you guys think?
It's both.
Yeah.
I think it's like they recognize it's kind of been a long time coming. He's a sense. And it's like it's Worf's time now, is what I get from this episode. Like, we're going to get a lot more Worf going forward. And they show you like the potentials very cleverly of like where it could go. Like what it could be for Worf in the future.
Yeah, that's it's the, like you were talking about, that you kind of see the difference between the old Worf and the new Deep Space Nine Worf, and I think you can kind of pinpoint this episode as that real shift towards the new Worf. So it's kind of a interesting.
We get to see. Yeah, we get to see him in the red uniform for a bit, which almost feels like, now in retrospect, a little preview, because when he goes to Deep Space Nine, he goes in a command and becomes a much more like fleshed out character, and I feel like we kind of get to see some different angles to him, almost some more domestic sides to him, but then also some more like Worf having to think his way out of problems rather than just fight his problems, and which it just makes him he feels very three-dimensional in this one compared to I think some of the earlier ones where he's like, "Captain, recommend we raise shields." "Not yet, Mr. Worf." Like that's like that every episode. He's like the grumbling Klingon in the back, and he doesn't quite feel like that here. Like he feels much more fleshed out, three-dimensional, which I definitely prefer to earlier Worf.
Yeah, I think Michael Dorn appreciated it too.
Yeah,
the chance to step into a leading role. Really, like he brought it. It was excellent in this episode.
Yeah, the acting, great. It's great. Loved it.
Yeah, I think he plays it really well. Shout out to Michael Dorn.
Shout out to Michael.
Hell of a performance.
I think this is the first time we've seen him. It's not the episode they debut it, but it's the first episode we see his ponytail look rather than his kind of short bob look, and I always like the ponytail look better.
Yeah.
Just gives him that kind of
long flowing crimped Klingon main Worf.
Almost like the Bring It On girl.
Almost. With their weird twists.
Yes.
Shout out to Elijah Dushku in Bring It On. Hell of a performance.
This season specifically kind of gets a rap for either being not as good as some of the other seasons or being a bit wonky. But it sounds like we're all pretty agreed that like this one's actually pretty fun, even if it is a bit wonky. I'm not sure if I would want to like the alternate timelines, like, because at the end of this I'm like just seeing how he latches on to something, I'm like, oh god, I'd just be so worried. I'd be constantly thinking about all the other timelines I saw, just like, what about that one, and what about that one, what about that one? I still don't know, but I feel like I still feel like I would get lost in it. That would be my fear. I feel like they could easily do a version of this that almost plays more like a horror, because there is something kind of disturbing about him kind of like passing out, and it seems to be a very uncomfortable experience for him.
Like,
so
what
I feel like
happens if
they
he
could
dies in one of these universes? Does he wake up in another one? Like,
yeah,
Groundhog Day situation.
Yeah.
Like there's another universe where like he freezes and the whole Enterprise gets blowed up.
Yeah, and then what happens?
Yeah. Does that Worf get a move on, or he's just dead now, or existential horror? Do you know who we didn't see in this episode? Tasha Yar. Like,
she's still alive.
Well, she's dead, but I'm like, this
I see. Great opportunity to bring her back.
They brought Wesley back, but it's like, well, it's comforting to know that in every single universe, Yar doesn't make it.
Well, she was probably still doing Playboy at the time and wasn't able to get back into the series.
I can't fit into my schedule, guys.
Yeah.
The Armus Yar encounter is also a fixed point in time in every universe.
Right. There's no multiverse to that.
Don't you understand, Rose? It has to happen. It must happen.
She's died in that pit. Even over and over and over and over. Poor Tasha still doesn't make it. They did consider bringing her on, but they went with Wesley instead, who gets his one little. They even barely acknowledge that he's there. It's just like for like a scene or two. Wesley.
And throw the kid a bone.
He's back.
That Wesley, cool.
Yeah, shield's down.
Yeah, it's like he didn't quite turn up to grow up to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, did he?
No.
Oh, bless you. Shout out to Will Wheaton. Hell of a job.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
All right, I think we'll start to wrap it up with some final thoughts. Darren, final thoughts on Parallels.
I gotta say, probably one of my top 10 episodes of any series or anything.
Really? This is top 10 for you?
Seriously.
Wow.
I liked it. I mean, I picked up on so much more. It may have been from other things, but I got a lot out of it, and I just really enjoyed sitting down and kind of analyzing it. I don't usually analyze a Star Trek show when I'm watching it.
Sure.
And just sit there and watch it for fun, know, and to relax. So it was kind of different sitting down and actually having the opportunity to really kind of think about,
pay attention.
And catch the nuance and stuff, which I normally just don't do. But so
I mean, how many of us play just Star Trek in the background while you're doing something else?
Yeah,
Sleeping.
Sure. And also feel free to put the Star Trek podcast on while you're doing something else too, if you want to have that as background noise. I think that would be good. I've done that before. So
the sultry, dulcet tones. Great to take a nap too.
Today we are watching Parallel. Fall asleep to the soft sounds of Star Trek stories. All right, top 10. I love that. It's always fun for me to find everyone's got their favorites. Like there's always like the big famous ones that like the fandom more or less like, best of both worlds, where Picard gets assimilated. Yeah, that's one of the best, sure. But then everyone also has like all their personal favorites, and so I love everyone like, I love this one. Picked the right episode for Darren.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Aaron, final thoughts on Parallels?
Oh, I think we pretty much said it. Excited to watch more Worf going forward.
This is basically it on our list.
No more Worf?
Basically, this is like our solitary Worf episode for the most part.
Well, I'm just going to have to pick some Worf episodes while I'm doing the dishes.
He gets a lot of the overarching, like, a lot of his stuff is like the long running, like, plot stuff with like the Klingons and like the House of Duras. Like, there isn't a lot of serial stuff in Next Generation, but Worf gets like the lion's share of it, actually. His relationship with Jaron and everything, and
it being accepted into the House of Martok. Spoilers.
Spoilers for Deep Space Nine. There is no final verdict. I think for me, this is one of the ones this wouldn't be one of my top 10, but I think this is one of those ones where it's like there'll just be some random episodes that I will like, I just want to watch that one. Like that's such a, like, kind of Remember Me is kind of like that, where Crusher is trapped in the warp bubble universe. Like I just want like a wonky Star Trek-y episode, and I feel like this is one of the ones I'll throw in if I want like something like that. It's so Star Trek-y, this one. It really is. It really is. Anomaly of the Week and Technobabble, but then like the little character work, and it's so Star Trek-y. And this was one that I missed initially as a kid. So there are some I just have memories of watching as a kid over and over. I didn't watch this one until I was a little older when I caught it. years later. So this one always also has a little bit of novelty for me. I'm like,
that's cool.
I wasn't a little kid watching I missed this one when it came on. So thank you, Parallels. In an alternate timeline, I watched Parallels as a kid.
But missed a bunch of others.
Changed the entire trajectory.
Completely missed the DS9 original series crossover.
Yeah, completely missed it. All right, Darren. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about Parallels with us.
A lot of fun.
As soon as Aaron said you were going to come up, I've been super excited. I'm like, hell yeah.
Well, cool. I was excited too, let me tell you, man. It was...
I want to go be on that silly Star Trek podcast. We'll definitely have to have you on again. There's still lots of Star Trek stuff to come. So we're going to be moving into like Voyager and Enterprise and all the modern shows. And
well, let me know. I'd be happy to come back. I have my daughter and son-in-law to visit.
Hell yeah.
It's always a fun weekend when we get to come up here.
I'm going to visit Jaron. Oh, and you guys too, of course.
That's right. I gotta say though, I don't like the cold.
Yeah, because you're down in Arizona?
I'm in Phoenix.
Or Phoenix? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very different. Yeah. It's still pretty chilly up here.
It is.
Oh, yeah, you Utah people.
He stood outside this morning. He was like, fuck this bullshit.
It was bad, man.
First words out of his mouth.
Yeah, pants on and a jacket. What is this?
It's March. It's April.
I would love to come back, though, even if it's snowing. And
Christmas timing. What is the opposite of kapla? Plaka.
Thanks for coming on, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, it's been
Appreciate
great.
that.
We'll definitely have it again.
And thank you for the Klingon birthday.
Oh, yeah.
It is in the lore now, forever and ever.
Good.
The bar has been set. I now expect a new Klingon phrase for the next episode.
Oh no.
Gauntlet thrown down.
Oh, man. Okay. We'll make it happen.
So make sure to stay tuned, everyone, for Darren's latest adventures in Klingon.
Look forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Minds.
Well, thank you at home who is listening. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of Parallels, if not the episode itself. Next time, we are going to be watching Lower Decks. Now, before you start losing your shit,
I've lost it. Shit in my pants.
I have pooped myself.
Yes.
We won't be watching Star Trek Lower Decks, unfortunately. The beloved silly animated series. We are going to be watching instead the TNG episode that inspired it. Lower Decks. Since the beginning of Star Trek, there have always been the red shirts and the background crew members. And now we are finally getting an episode that is all about them on a very special episode of Star Trek. And we're going to have a new friend on to talk about that one with us. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, everyone. Once again, thank you. Darren, thank you again.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Papa.
Like Paul. Aaron, as always, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jaron.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And we will see you all next time. Hopefully in the future where you're married to Counselor Troy and she's just wearing her incredible parade of dresses for you.
But if not, you can do it. Believe in yourself.
I'm fine with this one.
I think I want to get stuck here. I'm really sad about Geordi.
But I think it's best if I stay. Good
For
night.
the good of the multiverse.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to share us your own Star Trek story, you can email us at storiedstartrek@gmail.com, or you can visit our Discord server. You can find us by clicking on the link in the show description.